The first screen in the program information batch of screens will look familiar to you. It is identical to the equitable access screen that has historically been completed in MEGS Plus. Under the first section, equitable access for students, you will need to identify the steps the LEA will take to overcome barriers faced by students to equitable participation. For example, our district will use grant funds to strengthen its district-wide STEM initiative. Since STEM-related classes tend to disproportionately attract boys, we're implementing outreach strategies to encourage more girls to participate in our STEM initiative. In the second section, steps the LEA has taken to overcome barriers faced by teachers to equitable participation must be highlighted. The example we will use here is our district will use grant funds to send staff to training in order to improve K-3 early literacy. Because some of our staff have disabilities that impede their ability to drive, we will provide transportation as needed to enable all staff to the ability to get to off-site professional development opportunities at times beyond the school day. Finally, in the third section, the LEA must identify steps taken to overcome barriers faced by parents and families. Our district will use grant funds to do a variety of parental outreach activities. Because some of our families speak a language other than English as their primary language, we will offer translators at the outreach activities to ensure parents can participate. If you need assistance with identifying examples, please see the appendix of our help document and reach out to your regional consultant. Be sure you save before moving on to the next screen. The next screen is the Language Assistance Plan screen. This screen is also the same as what it was completed in MEGS Plus. First, enter the name of the Title III English Learner Contact Person, as well as their email and phone number. Then enter the general funded level of service and number of hours daily, mode of delivery, and the staff providing these services for the various levels. Upon completion, click Save. If you need additional assistance with this screen, see Appendix B in the help document, visit the sample language assistance plan on our OES website, and contact your regional consultant. In this example, we will enter hours for each level of service, use push in language development and Common Core content area learning, and our staff member will be a certified bilingual ESL endorsed classroom teacher with highly qualified paraprofessionals for push-in. For the sake of time, we're using the same example for each level of service. Be sure to save before moving on to the next screen. The next screen, Special Populations, Additional Information, is new to the consolidated application. For this screen, we are looking for information regarding the identified needs of your students experiencing homelessness that will be addressed with Title I Part A homeless set-aside funds. In this example, I will say, many of our high school homeless students do not have an adequate place to complete homework and often struggle to return homework due to a lack of adequate space to complete their homework. Others struggle with a consistent mode of transportation to get to and from tutoring sessions before and after school. Our students experiencing homelessness tend to be more truant than other students. We have determined one of the primary causes of is a lack of personal welfare items and academic supplies. Title I funds will be used to provide before and after school tutoring and a space to complete homework with assistance from certified staff. We will also provide transportation. We will use Title I funds to provide personal welfare items like clothing and toiletries, as well as academic supplies needed for core classes. All of these uses were determined in conjunction with our homeless liaison. Part 2 similarly addresses the needs of students experiencing foster care. In this example, I will indicate that while we are not specifically setting aside funds for students experiencing foster care, so I will say not applicable at this time. Next, enter the name, phone number, and email address for the homeless and foster care liaisons and save. The fourth screen in this section is the Title IV Part A Assurances screen. All LEAs must check the first box. Only if LEAs are using $30,000 or more of its funds, including carryover and transfers on the Title IV Part A activities, must they check all three of the second section boxes. If an LEA is using less than 30,000 of its funds on the Title IV Part A activity, they only need to check one of the three boxes, or as many as apply. If all funds are being transferred out of Title IV to another funding stream, nothing needs to be checked. Save and proceed. The last screen in this section is Title V Part B SRSA flexibility. Only those eligible for SRSA will need to complete this screen. If an SRSA eligible district intends to exercise alternative fund use authority, allowing Title II Part A and Title IV Part A funds to be used like Title V Part B funds, check all boxes that apply. SRSA eligibility will be confirmed by regional consultants. Save and proceed. Since in this example, we are not going to use this flexibility, we are just going to leave those boxes blank and save.